Like to
Okay,
welcome
yeah.
everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Eric Ring is off in Canada taking photos of polar bears. So our president will be here in a moment via a recorded video. So I'm just subbing today to move things along. I guess we have to open the meeting. So would someone make a motion to open the meeting? Okay. Somebody made a motion, right? I didn't see anybody. I guess we're gonna have to go home now. Nobody. Oh, there we go. Okay,
Call the
Cheryl.
meeting to order. That's all you have to
Yeah,
do.
call the meeting in order, and someone seconds it. I guess I don't know. Um, and now that our meeting is in order, we're going to vote to approve the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from last month?
Approve. Yeah, a motion to approve.
And someone the second. Eric
Second.
Roberts. Great. Now you've heard enough of me. We need to hear from our dear leader. Eric Ring is going to make a special message all the way from, well, I don't know if he recorded it before he went to Canada, but Six will put it on the screen for you.
Everybody see it?
Hi, everybody. I'm Eric Ring. I'm president of the Philadelphia Folk Song Society. I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to make the meeting today. I had a already scheduled trip up to Churchill, Canada, where we're photographing some polar bears, and can't make the meeting. We did move it to today because of Rosh Hashanah being next week. Um, so Rob Kutzik is going to be in charge of the meeting today. I did want to take a moment to thank a couple people for the festival that we had. Of course, Michael Braunfeld did an amazing job as the festival director, and I want to thank him for putting together such a fabulous show. I want to thank all the volunteers that without their help, the show could not have gone on. And I want to thank the board, specifically certain people who went above and beyond, like Eric Robbins, like he always does, and Cheryl Tockett, and also Rob Kutzik for working with the sponsors. And of course, I want to thank all the people that bought tickets and attended because without them, there would be no festival. So thank you for everybody and our community coming together and putting on an amazing event. Um, uh, in terms of what's coming up next, that's going to be discussed. Some of it is going to be discussed during the meeting today. Of course, we have approved and we're working on next year's festival, and that's it for right now. The only other thing that I want to mention is that come December, we're going to be having our elections again. There are three open, well, there'll be three open seats. And there are some current board members that I hope will run again. But if you are interested in becoming a board member, and I would point out we are a working board member, we all put in lots of hours. Um, and But if you're willing to put in the time and the effort and want to be on our board, then if you would send me an email with your interest, and then I can tell you pretty much what we need. We're going to need your platform statement, and we'll need a picture of you, and we'll put everything together and set up everything for the election, which will happen in December. So, yeah, if you want to run for the board of the Philadelphia Folk Song Society, we'd love to have you on board or on the board. And that's about it for now. And I'm going to turn it over to Rob Kutzik. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you, Eric. And I want to thank Eric as well on the board, of course. He is a major reason as well for our success. I want to also mention that if you're interested in being part of the board, when he says to email him, his email is ering at pfs.org. Ering at pfs.org. Of course, I certainly want to echo all of the thanks, first and foremost to Michael Braunfeld, for the successful festival this year. Could not have happened without his leadership. And of course, all of the volunteers, and I know he may want to single out one or two people, but I know that all of them together as a team made that happen. I know some of you are anxious to hear how we did on the festival financially. So we are now going to turn it over to our treasurer, and he will now unveil. I haven't seen it myself, so I know some of it, but I don't know the details yet. So I'm as anxious as all of you to actually see how we did. So Eric, take it away.
Appreciate it, Rob. Thanks. Hope everyone had a great fest. I know I did. And I am happy to say, once I share screen, and let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, great. So happy to say we had a financially profitable fest this year. We made approximately $44,000. So currently, the society has over $420,000 in cash in the bank and over $350,000 in net assets, which is the equity of the organization. So if we look at the festival income statement, you can see the breakdown of the 44,000 we made. We had just over $1,025,000 in revenues. Most of that ticket sales, a little over 750,000. We had merchandise, raffle, and ice sales of just over 136, close to 137. Sponsorship and advertising revenues. These are areas where Rob's out working hard, getting money in the door. So 67,000 there. Some vendor fees, craft and food vendors. 63,575, and we had our Martin Guitar grant of 10,000. So 1,027,000 of revenues, and as you can see, our total expenses are just shy of 1,982,000, giving us the net income of 44,000. You can see the breakdown of the expenses, sort of in a high to low. Equipment rental being the biggest for over 210,000, and then our performer fee budget of just over 150. Production fees close to 121, festival management expense of just short of 81,000, merchandise expense of 62, professional fees 77, program 34. Site preparation, as you know, we spend a lot of money turning the farm into a festival, so just short of 60,000 there. And you guys can see everything kind of going down to the bottom line. So 44,000 total profit. There's some estimates built in there. I haven't received every invoice for expenses and haven't gotten every dollar of revenue in yet. But this is kind of definitely a ballpark of where we're at. Might shake out $5,000 higher or lower when everything comes back. So at the end of the day, the balance sheet of the society looks like this. We have just over 422,000 in cash. We're due 8,900 from vendors, food and craft vendors. We're due receivables 3,900 for advertising, program book advertising sales. So the total assets of the organization just shy of 435,000. And we do have payables. We're usually pretty current, but we do owe some vendors who've yet to bill us for the festival, so 42,000 there. We collected taxes for Upper Salford Township. We have a head tax on tickets. We do owe them $30,800. I'll cut that check before the end of the month. And we owe the state sales taxes of 3,400, close to 35. That liability is going to be reported for a little while. We are a semi-annual filer, which means we won't pay that tax until January after year end. So our line of credit, once again, is zero. We haven't had to borrow on the line of credit since we paid it off in June of last year. So total liabilities is 76,000, and it presents our net assets of 358. Once again, if we paid off all our liabilities, the net assets would be the total assets that would be remaining for the organization. So if you guys recall, once upon a time, our net deficit was like 200,000. As we stand today, 358,000 of net assets positive. So looking pretty good. So that's it for the treasurer report. So back to you, Rob.
I have a question. It's Julie Sansone. May I ask a question, Eric?
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
I was just wondering, how does the revenue compare to what was projected and also to last year? I can't remember. And ticket
So
sales in particular.
yeah, so we projected revenue to be, for ticket sales in particular, we projected revenue to be basically flat. In other words, to get the same revenue as the prior year, but we did project it less, 20,000 less. And the reason we did that was because we gave a $20 discount on volunteer tickets. We have about 1,000 volunteers. If everyone would have taken advantage of that, that would have been 20,000 less revenue. Unfortunately, everyone doesn't take advantage of that, so our volunteer revenue was only down 10,000. But so we did project ticket revenues about 20,000 less from the prior year, and we fell short of that by about 65,000. So, but we did achieve 90% of what we projected. But the reason why we were able to still have a profit was revenues were higher in other areas, particularly in our vendor fees. Our food vendor fees were higher than what we had projected. And everything else was kind of pretty much flat. Our merch sales were flat. Our sponsorship and advertising sales were what we had budgeted to. The real pickup was on the expense side. And that's why we were able to have the profit that we had.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Great. Well, it's great that the festival was financially successful, but of course it was successful in many other ways. And again, we're very excited about the program that was put on. And now I'd like to introduce our festival director, Michael Braunfeld.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I am happy to report that by all standards, the 62nd Philadelphia Folk Festival was a success. Over the course of the event, I received positive comments from ticket buyers, performers, and volunteers, and those good reviews continue to pour in, and I think I'm happy to say that there's been significant industry response to it as well. Everybody thinks we did a good job there. This was my second year as a director, and I believe we are making a lot of progress with the festival, both in terms of the culture and in identifying ways to ensure the financial success of the event. I think we have found a model that works, and assuming that we can maintain a mindset of being fiscally conservative across the board, we have proven that we can attract great talent and stage a multi-day festival, a large one at that, with everything that comes along with it in the future without too much risk. I do think that it's important to continue to pursue every dollar available to us through partnerships, sponsorships, grants, donations, endowments, both from the festival side and the society as a whole. And that will, of course, allow us to keep growing and building on the success of the last 2 years. Had a lot of fun out there with everybody. I'd just like to thank once again the board of directors, the Godshaw family, Upper Salford Township, the festival leadership team, of course, every single one of the volunteers. A job very well done. And lastly, thanks to everybody who came out and enjoyed themselves at the festival. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Michael. So far, everything is great news. And it looks like the next report is going to be given by me. And I want to start with some very promising news, but not yet. We don't yet know, but we do know that we have 2 grants out there that we have submitted. The smaller one that was just submitted is the Martin Foundation grant. And we are very much appreciative of receiving that grant. Last year, we're optimistic we'll get it again. It's a $10,000 grant. We generally will know well before the festival whether we have those funds. That was what helped fund some of the events at the Culture Tent. We also have a very large grant out there for the state DCED monies. If we get that grant, we would receive $90,000, or maybe somewhere between nothing and $90,000, depending on what they want to give us. And that is dedicated to more marketing resources, as well as trying to get additional, I guess, performers that would even be even larger draws. So those are kind of what that grant is about. We are also at a crossroads with development. We need a little more support now. Found that the level of time that the committee has been putting in has been great. We've been very, very helpful in making it happen together as a team at the Gene Shea event. And we need more support now with ads and sponsorships. I will be doing a workshop sometime later this year, before the end of the year, for those volunteers that are interested in learning more about grant writing, learning more about sponsorships, and learning more about development in general, so that we can get some additional folks doing the solicitations. We have a great team in RD, but we don't have as many people soliciting. But I do want to again recognize Eric Robbins, who not only spent most of the festival in a trailer, but also helped to get one of our major sponsors this year with the assistance of Deb Halpern. So that was important. But a lot of the solicitation that I've been doing, I want to spread the good cheer to others as well, because it's a lot of time that's necessary there. So if you're interested in learning more, please email me at rkutzik@pfs.org, Kutzik. And as Eric mentioned, we were able to make our sponsorship and ads goals. We fell, in my mind, we fell a little short in some of our individual giving. One of the things that Michael mentioned is that we want to begin to think more about endowment, and we would like to think as well about planned giving. So if any of you are in the area of financial services, we'd be interested in talking to you. I know that Charlie Miller has that background, but there may be some others that do as well. That would be helpful to know as we begin to develop that piece, because we'd like all of you to think about that as far as long-term sustainability. Anyhow, that's my speech on development. I realize I took a lot of time on that, but thank you again to the RD team. And we're going to now turn it over to Erin for membership.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. So for September, so since we didn't update at the August in-person meeting, for September we are at 937 members, which is up 25 from when we last pulled the numbers in July. 97 memberships lapsed and 122 either joined or renewed. So we hopefully captured everybody that lapsed and then got some new people. I know the volunteers talked to a lot of people at the outreach table this year at the festival. So there were a number of people that either joined or renewed at the festival. So that was great. And it seems like our new system is working as it's supposed to. When your membership lapses, now you get an email that tells you that your membership lapsed, so you can get on there and renew it, which is great. And that portal is, or the CRM, which is the next, I think, thing on the agenda. So I'll just talk about it right away. Oh, sorry if you can hear my my assistant in the background there. That portal is just that transition is just about done. There's one kind of last step that has to take place before we can fully launch it to everybody, just because some of the people who used to pay monthly through our old system couldn't be imported. So we just have to get those people kind of situated, and then we can do a big announcement of this is how you can log in and get in there. Anyone that has a current membership can actually already log in on that website. So if you are interested, you can take a look at the membership where you'd sign up. There's a little sign in section, I think in the top right corner, in one of the corners. Anybody can go in there and set that up with the email address that it's attached to your membership account, but we'll be sending out a lot more information, and there's not much in there right now. But so that's kind of the next step, which is really exciting.
Aaron, thank you for that update, and thank you for your hard work in the area of membership and getting that CRM going. Also, a shout out again to Rich and Joe for helping the data transfer. That's Joe Liebel and Rich Kopstein. Um, one thing I didn't mention in my report is the reason we don't know about the state grant yet is the state budget has not been passed. So we will not know about that until after the budget is passed. I'm going to now surprise people and see if two other folks who are not on the agenda would like to say a few words before we get into a quick update on spring thing or fall fling. Joe Henderson's been doing some work for the board and for the organization. Joe, is there any update that you'd like to just give or share for a moment?
We are kicking off or restarting what we're called For the Folking Future, which is our initiative to create near-term and long-term plans to bring in younger audience members. We kicked it off this past festival with a social media influencer pilot test with 6 social media influencers, and I understand that it went very well. That needs some tweaks, but in the next coming months, we're going to look at adding more influencers and start the influencer campaign much earlier, 2026 for the festival. This past festival, we started it in early July. We hopefully start it in January or February this coming year. That's all I have to report right now, Rob.
Great. Now I'm going to surprise another board member. Cheryl, do you want to let the members know a little bit about this survey that hopefully they've all seen?
Hopefully they've all seen it. The survey went out to volunteers. A survey went out to people that just purchased tickets. And a survey went out to Friends of Fest, if that's how you purchased your ticket. And hopefully you'll get an opportunity to send us some feedback. It's very invaluable. Will help us plan for next year. I know I've gotten about 70 back already, and it just went out this morning. So I'd like to
Great.
hear from all of you.
Great. The only other people I could surprise is if Julie has any update she'd like to share on marketing. Not Julie Linehauser, but Julie Sansoni. But yeah, we didn't prepare for that, so I don't want to leave her out if she's not a board member, but she is one of our marketing chairs. If she wants to say anything, she can speak at this point, and otherwise we'll move on to.
I'll just say that I have to check in with Nancy, but we'll pull together some kind of post fest report and want to start planning marketing activity for the next festival. So I'm gonna have some questions about milestone dates and things, but I'll send those in an email. Thanks, guys. It was fun to work with you.
Thank you, Julie. That's great. Yeah, we're talking about some new things. I thought that's a good segue, especially with Joe looking at some new initiatives, and Joe also is working on the strategic plan that is moving along. I know this year. So one of the things we're looking at as far as new initiatives is an old initiative.
Rob,
Yes.
just to put it out there, if anybody's interested in any of that as a member or just to look at what we're doing or participate, love to just have them email me directly for strategic plan or young initiative. Thank you.
And could they email you at jhenderson@pfs.org?
They absolutely may. Thank you.
Okay. Fabulous. So yeah, one of the things we have been talking about, we believe there's an interest. We've been hearing a buzz for a year or two, and now I'm very thankful that I had an opportunity yesterday to speak with Diane Tankel, who of course originated the spring thing, and I also spoke with Charlie Miller, who was involved with the fall fling, and we are looking in October to set a Zoom planning meeting to determine first steps. I don't know if Diane wants to say a few words here. She's, I believe, at the meeting. She doesn't have to. I'm surprising everybody today. But if she wishes to, she can. We are going to get in touch with the former leader of that event very shortly. We want to speak with her and see if she'd be willing to help lead or make something happen. Okay, I see Diane, so she's gonna just kind of not necessarily have to speak at this moment. I'm gonna now move on. You know that we're now working towards something there. We do want to know, though, your interest. There will be a survey going out to see what kind of interest there actually is in restoring one of these heritage events. Now I can stop talking because we're at the Musical Artists Cooperative section of the meeting. Mac, I'm going to first turn it over to Maura Levine, who does so much work to keep that program moving forward, and she can either give the report. I don't know if Jefferson is here, so Maura, why don't you start giving the report? If Jefferson is here and
Sure.
wants to say a few things, he can.
I don't see him, but if he's here, he can, raise his hand and be more than happy to share a report with him. If I have the ability to share my screen at this point, that would be great. Can I do that? 6?
You should be able to.
All right, let's give it a shot. Share. Okay, select, share sound. All right. Rob, I didn't attend, but you did. And before I got into the upcoming events, we just had our first PFS house concert at Irene Lambro's house. And maybe, Rob, you want to speak just for a moment, because I didn't attend. Can you talk a little bit about that? That's a free member
Yes.
event.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. It was a wonderful event. We want to thank our host, Irene Lambro, and it was in Elkins Park. We had 2 great performers, one of whom is named Kate Mills, and the other is Jeff Mamet. Found out how to pronounce his name correctly finally. Jeff Mamet, who is from Central Pennsylvania, but both are Musical Artists Cooperative members. We had about 20 people in the audience. We would like to get more PFS members out at these events. We're going to have another one in October. I know
In November, Rob. The house concert will be in November. Yeah.
Is it the first, like November 1st or something, early November?
It's early in November. I'll have to double check on that
Yeah.
because I only went through October.
Okay. These are house concerts that are part of your member benefits, and we encourage you to attend. Most of these performers have either played the Philadelphia Folk Festival or played national venues. Both of our performers at this past Saturday's house concert have toured nationally and are really excellent performers. So we hope that we see you at the next one. And that's it for the house concert. We also had our first monthly member concert at the Keswick. As always, we want to thank the Keswick. That was last night. And we had the River Drivers fresh off their Philadelphia Folk Festival performance. It was a great night. There's an open
Thanks,
mic.
Rob.
Thank you.
So upcoming tomorrow night, we have Bob Andrews with Larry Ragone on guitar at the Naked Brewing Company in Bristol. That's a no-cover event. Great venue. They've got food, beer on tap. Come on out. There's a new series. It's not MAC. It's a PFS concert series called What Did You Do Last Tuesday at Well Crafted Beer in Lansdale. And that is a no-cover tips appreciated venue. And Jefferson Berry is going to open for Karen Oliver, who's a national touring artist. On the 3rd of October, we have David Fox and our monthly social meetup and jam at Malalani's. And that does have a ticket price, and anyone can come and participate and jam after the show. We have a second show at Steel City, Craig Bickhart with Larry Ahern and Terry Camilleri's TC3 at Steel Coffee House and Brewery. Ticket price is listed here. There's a ticket link. I'll put the stuff in the chat, afterwards for you folks. But we did a great job. We need to, pretty much, this venue is one where we do need to sell tickets. So we encourage people to come out to see this great show. The 15th, we have our virtual open mic, which we're in process of tonight, actually. Last Chance and Will Painter and the Collective will be at the Warehouse in Swarthmore on the 16th of October. That is a ticketed event. And then we have our upcoming free monthly member concert and open mic. And literally on this show at the Keswick, it's free for members and soon-to-be members. So it's open to pretty much anyone, with the hopes that you'll visit our membership. They'll visit our membership table and join to enjoy the benefits, other benefits. So Rob with the Old Sea Cats, that'll be sea shanties and maritime songs on the 21st of October. There's the open mic in person after that. So if you want to play, come on out. It's first come, first serve. And then we have a very special CD release concert for the Levins at the Mount Airy Art Garage. And the opening for them will be Two of a Kind. And the Levins have been selected for a formal showcase at the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance Conference, which is a pretty big deal. So they're a nationally touring act and a wonderful couple that make great music. And you leave the evening feeling absolutely uplifted by both of these acts. So we hope you can come out to the Mount Airy Art Garage on the 25th to celebrate their CD release concert. So that's the report as far as what's coming up in the next month. I'll stop the share.
Okay. Thank you, Mara. Anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I mean, we've got a full schedule for November, and we have, oh yeah, we do have the holiday party in December. I think it's the 19th, Rob, or the 20th now.
It's the 20th. It'll be in Mount Airy on the 20th. There'll be food and lots of different performers. It should be a lot of fun. Last year we had almost 75 people there. A lot of PFS members we did see out there. And again, it's a free event and it should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So, you know, come enjoy, really enjoy the member benefits with the concerts that we have and the open mics and things like that.
Great. We appreciate all your work there. Thank you so much. And we also appreciate very much the volunteer work of Julie Leinhauser, who is our next person up here to tell us about some of the community outreach events and partners that we're working with.
Hey everyone. First off, I just want to thank everyone that assisted with tables up until Folk Fest. I really feel like we got a lot of great information out for Fest. On that note, we have a lot coming up in October. Volunteers, you just got your email today, and in fact, all the October tabling events have been filled. So thank you so much for that. But we have a couple contests coming up in October. All Sellersville shows. So we have Yasmin Williams on October 3rd, 8 p.m. at the Sellersville. We'll have a contest for that. I'll drop the link in the chat. October 4th, we've been invited to partner with Lower Frederick Township for their fall festival. So we're going to have a table at that from 11 to 2 p.m. on October 1st in Springmount. October 12th, Stanley Jordan is playing at the Sellersville. Again, we have 2 pairs of tickets to give away for that show. We will have a table at Watch House at the Keswick, October 15th. Toronto Cannon, we are also giving away 2 pairs of tickets to that at the Sellersville on the 22nd. A very popular tabling show, which we duked it out for volunteers for, Tommy Emmanuel, October 23rd. Thank you so much for all your interest in volunteering that show. I'm really super excited. That should be a great show and a huge house. So it's going to be great to get our name out there at that show. October 28th, Arrows and Ashes, a little bit of a country rock band at the Sellersville, 8 p.m. And again, we have 2 pairs to give away for that. And then Halloween, a reschedule of the Friends of the Brothers featuring JMO at the Keswick. And then also to highlight October 28th, Reese Chad and Eli Lev at Well Crafted. This is the PFS show that we are having, we're hosting there. And just in the next couple of days, if you're going to Exponential Music Fest, look out for our table. We will have a table for PFS at the sponsor area. Joe and I will be there for 2 of the nights, and Aaron Gores will be there for 1 of the nights. So come say hi to us, spin the wheel. We have PFS swag to give away. September 21st, Hayes Carl at the Ardmore. I think we got that one covered. And then September 30th, Talisk is playing at the Keswick. So we have a lot of great shows coming up, and we'll continue to be getting our name out there. Thanks, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Julie. Some great shows there.
I'd like to list the shows upcoming in the chat when I'm able to, 6.
So before we get to questions and answers, we do have an item here. I don't know, though, if Andrew is here. But if Andrew is here, we can give you an update on the website. I will say, if you haven't seen the website lately, it has really been building up nicely. In particular, when you look at the Mac section, you'll see a well developed area for information on all the different artists in Mac. But many parts of the website have really been upgraded and improved, and we are very thankful to have Andrew as a volunteer. So if there's no further reports at this point, we're going to open the meeting up now for questions and answers. Okay. Please raise your hand. I see Maura. Okay. And Saul. Okay. Why don't we go with, I guess we'll go with Maura and then Saul.
Great. Okay, a few questions related to Fest. So last year, I understand that we took in about 140,000. This year, we took in about 44 in terms of the net profit. And
Last year was 160.
160. So a little less this year. So in terms of addressing that, I have questions about attendance. What is the difference in attendance from last year to this year? Because I'm sure that contributed to it. And then I'd like to ask a question about the site. So what is the difference in attendance between last year and this year?
Yeah, so if you can bear with me, I'm pull up a spreadsheet I have on that.
Sure. And by the way, after Saul, we'll have Julie Linehauser. So far, I have those two others. Mm-hmm.
Never mind, Rob. I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, guys, I wasn't ready for the question.
So what was your second question, Maura, again? The second
That's all
one?
right. I have it
Got it?
now.
Okay,
If you guys
great.
can bear with me. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So here's a breakdown. This is a breakdown of adult tickets only. Obviously, we sell more tickets, but this is a breakdown of adult. So you can see in 2024, we had 3,930 adults. And this year we had 3,636 adults. I do break it down between the type of ticket. And once again, these are entrance admission tickets only. So this doesn't show anything about parking and add-ons such as tram car, reserved seating, just attendance for adults. So you can see it was pretty flat in most areas. In these, it was pretty comparable. The big hit we took is all festival camping. 274 less adults in all festival camping, which of course is our biggest non-VIP ticket. We did see the Friends of Fest, which is the VIP, did go up this year. Maybe some of them camped last year, but still net is 250 decrease. So we do have a decrease. We got 93% of adults back in the numbers from 24 to 25.
Thanks. So given that we still see a decline in participation, I'm wondering if anything will be investigated regarding the site. And I say that because there's a lot of labor that goes into building the site. And I understand that there's a lot of people are attached to the site, but I want to just say that I think the festival is people, and that maybe there's a way to have a site that's easier to navigate for the older crowd and has some fixtures that we don't have to spend a lot of time building, especially with again, we have a lot of members who are older and some who can't attend anymore because they can't navigate the site or they can't do construction and those types of things. So I just want to throw that out there. It's been talked about a couple times, something like the Salem County Fairgrounds. We know that Falcon Ridge transitioned to the Goshen Fairgrounds from a site similar to what we have, a hilly farm site, and they've been doing well. And so I just want to kind of pitch that, because if we continue to see a decline, is there a way that, again, a site like that might cost us less to put up and maintain, and also be easier for people to navigate who are older, infirm. I'm counting myself among there. I had a tough time getting around. So I just want to pitch that. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you're certainly correct from a cost standpoint. If we had a site that was a little more turnkey and we didn't have to build it, it would reduce cost. From a revenue standpoint, I mean, who knows? Obviously, we do have a lot of hills and as you mentioned, and lack of shade, maybe other places. We've already started the process for 2026, so we're locked into the farm for sure for 2026. It's something that we can consider as a board from a long-term standpoint, whether we would want to do that. We have other initiatives to try to help get more people to the festival to increase revenues. A lot of the stuff is what Joe is spearheading with, what was the term again? Something for the.
For the folking future.
Yes, for the folking future. So, we have an initiative where we're trying to get younger people. And one of the things we're going to do is go out to some colleges and maybe we'll have some discounts for first-time young people. Joe's also spearheading another thing he hasn't talked about, but strategic plan for the overall organization, which of course would dovetail into Fest, which is our largest program. So, from 22 to 24, we saw a decrease in ticket sales and by basically the same ratio we're seeing now. We only achieved 90% in 24 of what we had in 22, and then here's another 90% from 25 to 24. So obviously we're cognizant of it and we want to change that. Now I'm happy to say that from a cost standpoint, I don't think it's the big deal that you're talking about because we've been able to maintain cost. But obviously, if we can reduce cost in site preparation, we would have a bigger performer budget. We're trying to have a bigger performer budget. We've discussed that with Michael for 26, and Rob brought up the potential. We don't like to count chickens before they hatch, but the potential for a large grant. And if something came through there, then we would have a much bigger. So obviously with a bigger performer budget, then we can, hopefully get acts that can draw people, maybe people outside of our little festiverse. But,
sure. Has anyone investigated like the Salem County Fairgrounds and what the cost would be for a site? It's flat, it has camping, they have other festivals there. Just investigated it.
We haven't done anything like that yet. But we would also have to get an understanding of what effect that would have. There's a lot of people married to the farm and that wouldn't go to another location. One thing we just put out were the surveys. So we put out surveys to everybody who came to Fest, all our ticket buyers. You got to give us an opportunity to see if other people are coming up with those same complaints. And I believe, Cheryl, correct me if I'm wrong, we have a survey that we put out to our 18,000 email list for people who didn't even come to Fest. And perhaps they can tell us why they didn't come, and maybe if the site's an issue, we'll
that one hasn't, the last one that you mentioned hasn't gone out yet because we were debating on how to send it, on whether to send it to the 18,000 or whatnot.
I think it's a
But
good
that'll
idea.
be out soon.
It's definitely a great idea to find out. But in talking to people, there's a lot of people who talk about the fact they can't navigate the site anymore that would like to come. So there's that. And maybe an electric system like you have at Spring Thing. I know it's not electric, but at Spring Thing and Fall Fling, there's volunteers who are there to take members around who can't navigate, and not just like a tram thing to camping, but around up and down the hill. Up and down the hill. That would be awesome. I'll fill out the survey.
Thank you, Maura. Good food for thought. And I know some of these will continue to be discussed. Some of these issues. So at this point, we have Saul, and then we have Trisha, and anyone else, after that. Saul.
Hi. My question is the same as Michael's question. Since we're talking about getting younger audiences, has anybody thought about bringing back the Odyssey program? Getting music back into schools?
Short answer is no, simply because of capacity. If there were people that wanted to run it, and then we'd have to look at the finances. I think also with Odyssey, I think it required grants and fundraising. We're trying to sustain the festival through supplementing. If you noticed that we had a $44,000 profit, but we still needed to raise about $60,000 plus dollars. And obviously that was one of a number of factors being, of course, the savings and costs of expenses. So that's a long way of saying that we haven't thought about that. I think, again, some of these ideas, like the one Maura brought up about, has anyone looked into that particular site? There's no reason why we can't have somebody look into it. It just may not be anyone on the board at this point. But we're not, there's no movement to move the festival for this year coming up at all. And but it can't hurt to get information. And back to your suggestion, Saul, we can always look into things like that, but we don't have the capacity for the Odyssey program right now. We're looking, I guess, I kind of looked at the spring thing, fall fling as a more doable piece, and also kind of addressing your issue is that a lot of children and families are part of that. So one of the ways of getting kids back and getting young people back involved in PFS. So I guess it's kind of one at a time. We're not quite there. But again, there's no harm if there's people that want to look into it, but there's no capacity right now to do that particular program.
Right. But
Sorry, I didn't have better answer.
I just thought I'd run up the flagpole and see who burned it.
It's a great program, and that doesn't mean that at some point it won't. I mean, if there was somebody on the board that really wanted,
some people with long memories would remember that that was my uncle's baby.
It was a beautiful program, and I do hope it comes back sometime.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. So we're going to go with Trish and then Dave Skeena.
Hey, so I've been putting archives up on on our group for, I guess it's members. If you go into the membership area, you should be able to see some Philadelphia Folk Festival and Folk Song Society archives, and also friends of the Folk Festival. So, and part of what we're trying to do with this is see who can see it, who's enjoying it, what kind of response do you have to it, what else would you like to see? So right now you could see there's a Teresa Pyatt recording that's up there if you would like to see that. There are a couple of there's a Pete Seeger, it's a Folk Song Society meeting from 1978 that's up there. Like, listen, and then please let us know what would you like to see in the future, because we're not going to put it up and we can't even go about trying until we know what you're interested in. Like, there are so many treasures in the archives, including from this past year and every year going all the way back to like 1961 is my first recording that I have that I could share. And if there's some interest, I'd be happy with the proper permissions to go ahead and share it. So one of the things that we were kind of talking about a little bit was a hootenanny. Like, hey, hootenanny, we haven't been to one of those in a really long time, decades and decades. And who even knows what a hootenanny is? But I have a couple that are on the archive recordings that I could share, and then we could kind of do a modern day hootenanny. Like, we need your input. So members, please jump in there, see what's out there, and then let us know what you would like to see next. So that's it from me.
Thank you, Trish. It's so great that we have such a great historical record of the performers and that you're keeping track of all of that. And as you mentioned, some of that is available for members right now. Yeah, very interesting. Some interesting ideas here. So now we're ready for Dave Skeena.
How you doing?
Hi there.
Glad everything turned out okay. I want to thank the board for keeping controls on the costs. I think maybe last year I mentioned that if you can get the expense side to 900,000, which I still think you're not there yet, you can safely make money every year. One of the things that stood out that Eric Robin's put up there, and since my background is finance, the two big things that popped out is the cost. There was two large costs. One was production, and then all the vehicle or rentals. Uh, any any CFO or finance guy, those things are going to just jump out at you. And so I'm wondering what else we can do to attack those. And then maybe getting to a little bit of Mara's point, more of a suggestion, because we have number of customers is dropped to the point where there's a lot of space in the campground. Perhaps we can both increase revenue a little bit and shave expenses a little bit. And that is have a section along the camp road where you can park with your campsite. Maybe charge in the $75 range, since that's what Gray Fox does. You can bring your vehicle in, park with your campsite. If you bring an RV in, then it's more. But give that some thought, because there is room. So when you have that camp road where it's already got gravel off to either side of that, to me, it makes sense to allow up to maybe the telephone poles that you could park with your campsite. Then, because of that, you wouldn't need as many vehicles to shuttle people in. So you would save a little bit on expenses. But my question to Eric is, what do you see as far as your effort to where do you think there's opportunity to save money?
Well, we've already reduced costs in a lot of areas. I mean, I wasn't around on the board in 2022, but when I joined, I did put the books together by looking at what was spent in 2022. So we've already, starting last year in 2024, reduced costs tremendously. Like I said, ticket sales revenue has been on the decline a little bit, though we have been able to subsidize it with sponsorships and advertising, the type of revenues that should have existed previously, but really didn't in 2022. I can't speak for years prior, but I know that we did have at some point some better sponsorship revenues. But we've already, done what I think is a great job in reducing costs and have a great model for paying for this festival. Like you said, to have the costs just hovering in the 900,000 range already is a big reduction from where it was in the years where we were losing $200,000 on each festival. So I'm very comfortable with where we're at now on our ability to pay for the festival. Inherently, we don't, wish to be profitable per se. We wish to cover costs. We didn't budget for $44,000 profit. We actually budgeted for less of a profit and beat the budget based on beating costs, really. So I already feel really comfortable on costs. I know that, obviously there's a lot we have to put into to make this happen at the current site we have. But, I think most people love the farm, and being that it's economically feasible, I feel good about where we're at with costs. To be honest, coming off of last year where we made 160,000, we increased costs. We weren't, our goal was not to make 160,000, but being in 2022, the numbers show that PFS lost over 200,000. We did everything to make sure we can pay for Fest last year. We didn't want to be in a position where we couldn't pay for it and then spent the whole year fundraising again to pay off deficits. So, we really tightened the purse strings and we made a lot of money. So this year when we budgeted, we actually put costs back in. We had stripped some benefits from our Friends of Festival people. We put some benefits back. We increased the performer budget. Actually, that was the biggest thing we wanted to do. And of course, we decreased the volunteer ticket. So we didn't need as much revenue to cover the costs that we do have. So I feel comfortable with what we have now, that we have a model where we can pay for it. But we do want to make sure that people are coming. And so we're definitely have initiatives to make sure we can get more people and get younger people to, I mean, we've had a rich history and we've had a lot of generations. And unfortunately, the older generations have passed along, and there's some people who haven't passed along, but they're they can't make it around, like you said. So we do have initiatives to get younger people. We want to get more people to the festival. But I think right now, from a cost standpoint, I think we're sitting pretty good and it's manageable.
Yeah, I do. I feel very comfortable. We have a board that keeps an eye on that, doesn't overstep, uh, and get over their ski tips on things. So I do feel comfortable with that. I disagree a little bit, even though you're a nonprofit, you should still be looking to put money away and net, 100,000 a year, because then you can grow the organization in different ways if you have that room. So right now I think you said you're 400,000 in assets. We want to get that up to $1 million, and then you
Yeah,
can
well,
do
we
some
want, we
other
want
things.
to, of course, we want to do that. Not for profit just means we don't pay taxes on the bottom line. It doesn't mean we don't want to make a bottom line. It's just we don't want to make too much because then the argument would be that we're overcharging on our ticket sales. So, we're a membership organization. The majority of our members come. We're also a big volunteer. I hope most of our volunteers are members, but they're not all members. But without the volunteers, we couldn't have the festival. So we're not trying to overcharge the volunteers. That's why when we made a significant amount last year and we said we don't need to make that much, we reduced the volunteer fee. So yeah, and we can make more money by increasing the revenue, assuming that doesn't scare people away, but we're not looking to do that. So it's kind of a fine line, but
I
yeah.
get you. Yeah.
But the goal, of course, is always to increase the net assets and get ourselves in a position where we can then have more programs. Where that's why we're talking about a spring or fall fling for the first time, because we finally have some net assets where we can do that. Bandwidth's a little tough as far as volunteers and people's time because we don't have any management. We don't have anyone on payroll, but we want to build up our equity so we can have more programs. Saul asked about Odyssey. That could be a future step, as we continue to increase our net assets and bring back the programs we have. So, but from a long-term standpoint, and once again, Joe Henderson's working on a strategic plan with a group of people that he has, would certainly be to put ourselves in a position where we would have, $1 million or more in net assets that we can then create what I would caution to be a quasi endowment, which would be board designated versus a true endowment. So we can have investments. I'm happy to say that 1 month this year, I think it was May, maybe June, we made $1,000 in interest income because of how much money we had. So yeah, obviously the goal is to keep making money and put on our programs and still build things. And then hopefully Rob talked about plan giving. Hopefully we can, get in a situation where maybe people will think about us for their wills with some legacies and give us the ability to put money away and invest it so we can use a certain percentage each year to help subsidize our program. So that's the goal.
Yeah, there's a couple festivals which I go to several that are growing and have outsized the Folk Fest, like the Briggs Farm Blues Fest up in Hazleton, has become quite an RV festival destination. I noticed, we tend to charge a lot for RVs, and our number of RVs seem to have gone down. But RVers tend to be retired and have money and have time. So I know you're focused on maybe growing the younger people, but I'm like, well, let's grow every age group.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
We want to grow
yeah,
our assisted camping
yeah.
section as well. I know you were calling that Oktoberfest.
I know, because I just turned over that to the retirement age, although I'm not retired. So I call everything assisted something. So, but yeah, I still think there's room to make it simpler. There's some ways we do things just because we've been doing it for 50 years at that site that cost us a lot of money, manpower and money. And just rethinking that a little bit without creating an uproar can make it easier for our customers to get in. And I think that's one of the biggest complaints is this is a difficult festival to attend. You really have to commit to it. You see that in our numbers where we have our core customers, both the volunteers and the off-festival camping people. They're going to come because they really love this festival and it would take a lot for them not to want to come. But we can increase that a little bit. Personally, I do like the comfort and size of the number of people there, but we could use a few more people. So, so I'll just end it there. Give you guys
Yeah.
something to think about.
Yeah, Dave, appreciate the feedback, and we're always looking to do things to make the festival better. And on a personal note, thank you for your commitment to our festival. I know I was talking to, I forget it was Rob or Rich, and they were talking about how much that you personally have helped with donations for things up at the fest.
Well,
Thank
that's
you
not
for
me
that.
personally. That's I do have some say in our company, so we are able to throw a couple grand worth of equipment your way every year. So we don't mind doing that.
We thank you for that. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate what everyone's doing. Thank you.
Yeah, David, I thank you as well. I do want to say it was a nice thank you to the board for keeping costs down, but really the credit goes mostly to two people. One, of course, Eric Robbins, but also Michael, who manages the festival, keeps an eye on that as well. But Eric is the person that really on the board has been focused on that, and those two folks have really been the ones keeping the costs down. As far as getting, revenue outside of normal ways, obviously I'm involved in that, and I do think I want to make a statement in that this will come up in strategic planning, but I'm not. I know that this organization ran completely by volunteers for many, many years successfully. I'm not convinced that it does not need a staff again. A couple of us on the board are doing what a staff would be doing, and we're risking burnout. And the just complete it takes complete commitment of just a couple of board members. And with that in mind, in a positive way, I want to again kind of encourage those folks that are interested in fundraising to come out to the fundraising workshops towards the end of the year. We do need more volunteers in all areas. Until that time when we decide that we either need to get staff or have enough volunteers that can really run this pretty comfortably. With that said, I want to. I know that Maura has her hand up. I want to.
Mark does. Mark has his hand up.
Yeah, I want to hit Mark
Maura
first,
was
and we'll
first.
come back to you.
Mara was first.
Yeah, Maura is allowing you to go first, and she's spoken before, Mark.
Yes.
And then we'll come back to Maura.
Hi, guys. I came in a little late tonight, but it sounds like the finances went pretty good, so congratulations. Couple weeks ago, I went to the pfs.org site and was kind of surprised. And then I went to the Fest site and was still surprised. You've got pages up selling tickets and asking for volunteers. It just plain doesn't look good. So I would suggest maybe put up a page of photos. I'm sure you have plenty of photos from the past year and years past that. So that's my suggestion. Get the pages changed because it just doesn't look good.
Point well taken. I've noticed in many of the organizations that I've been involved in, that seems to happen a lot, particularly after a big event. It's one of the last things that gets changed. But again, kind of related to what I just said, we're all volunteers. So, the one volunteer that really is doing that isn't here tonight. He's probably working already as a day job. And you're absolutely correct, Mark, not to make excuses, but that's another reason why down the line, maybe we do want staff. But we know that this wonderful volunteer who's been keeping track of our website will get around to doing this shortly, and do appreciate you pointing it out.
Thank you, guys.
Sure. Maura.
Yeah, so Sue put it in a comment about the change of site. We run 7 stages. Where can you replicate that? I'd like to say, do we need 7 stages? We have a lot less people coming currently, and wouldn't 6 stages be acceptable? And also, the stages that we have, can we do more cover on those stages? Certainly it was great to be able to spend Friday in the lobby tent with the MAC group undercover, so I just want to throw that idea out, that it could contain costs, but you have some stages that are fairly empty and others have more people, but that could be something. Again, it was just brought up, do we need to do everything exactly the way we've been doing it for the last 50 years? given the change in audience, the change in economics. And the other point is, we had a very dedicated volunteer, who I will not name, who said, I'm not going to be able to come this year because I cannot afford, myself and other peers cannot afford the volunteer ticket. Falcon Ridge charges $30. So if we made more at the festival, perhaps we could charge less for the volunteer ticket. And the only reason that individual and a bunch of others were able to come was because a friend won the lottery and paid for like 10 or 12 of them. Otherwise, they would not have come. And we're talking about long-standing volunteers who run crews. So I just, again, it's good that the surveys are going out, but we have to think about, do we need to do everything exactly the way we did it? And yes, if we made that extra $100,000, $200,000, maybe we could reduce the amount we charge the volunteers. Okay, thank you.
Certainly all good questions. Obviously, the issue of location is a huge, huge issue, and won't, I think one of the things is we really want to improve our attendance for next year at the festival, so that becomes less of an issue. Obviously, if we see an increase next year in attendance, there's less of a push to see whether we're doing the right thing and staying there. But those are big strategic questions. It'll be part of the strategic planning. I know many people on this call have very strong feelings about it, so it's not going to be resolved today, and you can all rest assured nothing is happening that's different for next year other than making an increased effort to get more people out. And obviously, I think the stages thing is a strategic decision as well, and some of that, again, depends on whether we continue to get more people or less. Cost of tickets, also related to that. But these are all good questions. I think we're ready for Trish again.
All right. Well, if any of you would like to go back and look and see and listen to what all the stages look like year after year and see how it works with 6 stages, 7 stages, 8 stages, now back to 7 stages, please let me know. It's all out there. We have all of the recordings from all the stages, and you can actually go back and see, is it worth it? Were there a lot of people there? You can see in the video, you can hear in the audio, and that's part of what the archives is for. So please, hit me up. What do you want to know?
Thank you, Trish. And it's also in our memory, and this is actually something that we have discussed already about the, particularly the heat and how that impacts some of the smaller stages. And there's more than one way to tackle that. Where we are discussing that right now. Literally, it has been some of the latest discussions that we've had with each other. So we're aware of that, but it's good to bring it up in front of everyone, because the fact is it's a reality that's one of the things that we're going to have to look at and see whether it's just a question of getting some more folks out. But that's the focus: to get more folks out, to get more people involved in all levels for this coming festival, and without major changes. And then, see if the trend continues. And what the trend is, just so we see, is we are fiscally now secure, but only if we continue as a volunteer organization, only if all of us continue to work as hard as we are. If we are going to change the organization in any way, we are going to have to change, obviously, our thinking, and we're not at that point yet. But we have a strategic plan in the works, and I think there's been a good discussion. I think we're done for the evening, unless there's any other burning questions or comments. And I want to again thank all of you. Again, thank Michael Braunfeld and his team for putting on a great festival. And we will be back here next month. Please consider going to the membership events that you've been hearing about, whether they're house concerts or the monthly concert, and continue to stay in touch with your ideas, and tell people about the festival now. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. If anybody on the board or our committee chairs would like to stay just for 5 minutes, just to make sure there's anything that needs to be touched upon, please let me know. That includes our festival director, if they'd like to stay for 5 minutes or so. Everybody else are dismissed. Thank you. Take care.
Rob, call for a vote on the motion to adjourn.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. Vote. Yay. Okay. Unanimous. Thank you.